Hi, it's Chris with Implied Music, and back with another Gizmo Sunday. One of my favorite mechanical gizmos, musical gizmos of all time, the Hurdy-Gurdy, has been rendered into a fantastic contact instrument. I've got a contact Hurdy-Gurdy. It goes way beyond the restraints of the original kind of medieval Renaissance instrument, and boy, is it a weird instrument. Let's take a look at Tonsturm's Wheel of Strings today. Well, the technology of infinite sustain has been a pursuit of instrument designers for centuries, and the beautiful sound of this droning string instrument is one of the results. Of course, the organ is another one, anything that uses an inflatable bladder that gives constant pressure on a tube. But string players have a hard time getting a constant sound. The bow goes down and then comes up. It changes, right? You can sort of get a continuous sound if you're a cellist, but it's not easy. Well, the hurdy-gurdy is an unusual instrument. It has melody strings and drone strings, and they are bowed by a rotating circle, a rosined bow that you crank. And you may have seen this instrument around. It's an unusual kind of thing. Let's take a look at this GUI, because it's kind of great. So a typical hurdy-gurdy, you can play melodies and you have these trumpet high drone strings and these bass low drone strings represented here on the green and yellow. So we got a nice low. Man, that's fantastic, right? Isn't that crazy? I have it in slow motion now. Let's take it out of slow motion. I'll talk about that in a minute. That's still just a beautiful sound. And they're long, long samples. And listen to the trumpet. And in the middle, I just took a look at Eldenvale, and this fits very tidily into that Renaissance medieval fantasy world, doesn't it? Well, Wheel of Strings is essentially two instruments at the same time, an A side and a B side, and you can choose sample articulations for each side. Let's go ahead and just choose normal on both sides. So we'll have a sense of, kind of like what this instrument is as it just lives by itself. We've got mic positions, including close, room, and body. And we've got a pan down below. You can hear it's a really bright sound. And I can go between the two sort of instrument sounds by sliding A to B. Now, if I grab slow motion, we've got beautifully recorded 96 kilohertz samples that have been flipped down to 48. And so this A sound now is an octave down. So there's an octave down from, and then together. Nice. That's just sort of the plain thing. And we've got harmonics, we've got tremolos and dissonant sounds, some really unusual articulations that are built into a really generous set of presets, which we'll take a look at in a moment. But let's move over from the main page. We have some control for velocity and how the keys track and things like that, to movements. Now, this is essentially a kind of a mod matrix that allows us to set LFOs and choose how they affect filters and distortions, et cetera. We've got speed and the delay time on it. It gets chaotic and really interesting pretty quickly in a great way. We've also got step sequencers. Let's turn off the LFOs. And the steps do kind of just what you'd expect. It's a great saw wave sound, isn't it? 2 step sequencers. You can set them different. It's crazy, right? And some nice effects, as well as just terrific true stereo space convolution reverbs, which I think helps enormously and also eats up the voices, so be careful. And filters and distortions on each. So, for instance, this sound here, let's say a low pass filter on both of them and just kind of make them dark. Turn up the resonance. There we go. I mean, this is getting like fully electronica, isn't it? In fact, let's do this. Let's learn MIDI CC automation on both of them. It's like a synthesizer, isn't it? Great convolution reverbs. And like I said, these are true stereo convolution reverbs. It doubles the voice count. And so, you know, things work pretty hard. See, I got 48 voices on a 4-note chord here. It's kind of a lot. But it sounds killer. Yeah, exactly. Don't you want to listen to some presets? Okay, here are our presets. You can select several categories and filter them. For instance, I want pure rattles. I got a couple possibilities. Synth distorted, couple of possibilities. That's taking good advantage of both the distortion and the excellent tape saturation. I have to try wobbly, don't I? Oh, that's interesting. So listen, together. Offset. That's nice. I love being able to do that. So it's re-triggering the LFO to give me a little extra juice. These rhythm patches are terrific. That's one LFO affecting a second LFO. The first LFO is controlling the pulse. The second LFO is controlling the speed of the first LFO. This is a complicated sound. I love that. Glass flute. Complicated instrument and very rich. It feels like you're kind of in the room with it because of that beautiful convolution reverb. Maybe we'll listen to a couple more sounds and then we'll just think to ourselves, do we need a hurdy-gurdy? Do we like saying the word hurdy-gurdy? Tonsturm does really interesting, unusual instruments, and I'm really grateful to them for having sent it my way to check it out. I've really always wanted to have a hurdy-gurdy to go along with my harmonium and my auto harp and my accordions and all that kind of thing. The struggle to get infinite sustain has probably been going on since the first caveman took a deep breath and tried to sing a very, 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 very long note. It's crazy to be in the room with one. If you ever have a chance, if your friend has one or something like that, they're making good ones now, electric ones that plug in, and they're just a crazy instrument to be with. I highly recommend it. But until that moment, we've got Wheel of Strings. I hope this has been useful. Like and subscribe and ding the bell to be notified when I do my videos. I'll see you next time.